right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending tonight's school board meeting. If you could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. All right, let the record show that all board members are in attendance. I would like to welcome all of you that are here tonight. Thank you for joining us. Happy first week of school. And I guess we owe the heat wave to Mr. McCann, because last meeting he wished for the heat wave. And we could focus.
I wanted 100 degrees, we got 90 degrees.
With the heat index, it was 103, but it's nice. I heard a lot of positivity about the air conditioners, and actually in some cases maybe it was a little bit cold, so I thought that was pretty refreshing to hear. Really have no announcements tonight, but we do have a discussion about a potential of a new pool, so I would like to turn it over to Dr. Romanelli.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. So tonight on the discussion section, we put the West Islip High School pool. This is one of our most widely used, if not the most widely used of our facilities in the district. And just as a little bit of an idea for that, you know, we have in our physical education classes, we have aquatics 1, 2, 3, and 4. In athletics, we have varsity girls swimming in the fall and varsity boys swimming in the winter. We have middle school swimming in the spring. We also have instructional and recreational programs, our elementary instructional swim year-round, and we do have family swim as well. We also have different community groups that use our pool on a regular basis. We have the West Islip Swim Club, we have West Islip Fire Department Scuba Team, Town of Islip programs, local church usage, adult education courses, and so on. So there's a number of different community groups that use our pool as well. So the situation that we're in now at the pool is that we're making regular repairs on the pool that now require us to drain the pool. It's out of commission for a few days. We have to refill. We have issues with the liner with bubbles getting in there. You know, there are sometimes clogs and backups, but there's concern about the full plumbing system that's in there. So we've started the process of kind of patching things and making things work for a little while. That's been going on for a couple of years now, and anyone that does have experience with the pool, or any of your any students that you know that are using the pool may have had a disruption of service, which we want to really make sure we have the optimal situation for the West Islip High School pool, as it is such a widely used part of our district. So we've been discussing that and really looking for the right time that we believe to address this and do so in the best way and the most efficient way and the most optimal way. So some of the discussions that we've been having just at our Buildings and Grounds Committee meetings throughout the years, I'm sure you've heard in some of the updates, is, you know, is it time to repair the pool? Is it time to replace the pool? Is it time to enhance and expand the pool? And a lot of our discussion has pointed us in the direction of a 6-lane pool. We currently have a 5-lane pool, which is not optimal for competition. A 6-lane pool really is an optimal competition space. You know, you can use all 2, 2, and 2 as the competition, rather than using 2 and 2 and then waiting and going to have the next piece there. So it makes for a much better competition. Also, places that do have a 6-lane pool are able to, you know, bring in revenue in different ways if they're using the pool for outside groups as well. So we're looking at the possibility of bringing in a 6-lane pool to West Islip High School. So with that obviously comes a price tag, and the price tag that we've been given as an estimate is about $12.6 million. That is about $5 million more than it would cost to repair and replace the current 5-lane pool. However, there is some state aid available on this, and we have it kind of as a projection of about $4 to $4.5 million. So that would bring the overall cost to just over about $8 million for the 6-lane pool. One of the big pieces here is that we currently have, about the timing piece, which we think is really, really important, because we're always thinking about what's the impact for taxpayers and what's the right time to do something like this, and how would we go about paying for something like this. So we plan to actually, if the board is open to this, have a full detailed presentation where we can share, diagrams of the pool, take a look at the debt schedule, and really put everything up on the screen for everyone to see. But our current debt right now for the 2023-24 school year is about $6.6 million. Some of that debt is expiring over the next few years. So in managing that, we want to make it so that the debt continues to lower over the course of the next few years. And we can actually accomplish that with the installation of a 6-lane pool to still see our debt lowering each year, which is why the timing is really, really important. Even if we manage that by putting in a project next year of about $1.2 million, our debt would be at $6.4 million, which would be less than it currently is this year. And then we'd start paying for the 6-lane pool the following year. Our debt would be at $6.3 million, 5.6, and it would keep lowering as the years go by. So really, it's the perfect time to do something like this because it really does have the minimal impact on our taxpayers, and actually our debt would be still going down as we install the 6-lane pool. So we do think that the timing of this is really, really important, which is why we raise it now. The best time to really initiate something like this would be if we could have, it would require a bond vote because of the amount of money that it does cost, that $12 million that we would have to put out to the community, the $12.6 million. So the best time to do that, if we were going to expect construction in the 25-26 school year, which is the earliest that could take place, would be to have a bond vote in the community this January. We'd really suggest January 23rd as an optimal date. We have a board planning session that night. We can put everything together for that and put a legal notice together to be approved by the board officially. But we were looking for some sort of consensus from the board or any questions that you may have. If there is some sort of agreement to put that out to the public, to be able to present this and to ask if the public would approve a bond for this usage. And if there is approval from the board and consensus on putting this out for a bond vote, we would absolutely then begin the process of putting the drawings together for the pool, for the 6-lane pool, taking a look at presenting the full breakdown of costs, taking a look at that debt schedule so everybody can see about the optimal timing for that. And we could put together a full presentation where we would have an evening to invite the community in to talk about this project really in detail and why we think it's really so important and why we think it's the right time to do a project like this. So if there is a consensus, we would love to propose that January 23rd bond vote date.
Is there anyone who is not in agreement with the date?
No, I think we talk about it a lot about in the buildings and grounds meeting. So there's a lot more information that we want to get out to the public. The first question is, why does it cost $12 million for a pool? I could put a pool in my backyard for X dollars, but it's actually rebuilding an entire building and expanding it. So there's a lot more to that. But I would agree that obviously it goes to the public for a vote. So that's the best thing, right? If the public wants it, the public will vote for it. So I think that's the timing works, and we can explain more of the details of the cost of it, how it potentially has state aid effect, and just the usage of it. I mean, it's a pretty impressive facility. As Dr. Roman said, Mr. Tussey and I were just up at the pool. It's the most used athletic complex in West Islip. It gets used 6 or 7 days a week. They start at 7 in the morning and they go to 10 at night every night, and then Saturdays and Sundays. So it's just one of those facilities that's great for the community. It's 60 years old. That's the problem. So I think the timing makes sense, and we definitely want to give more information and do public meeting to get that information out there. But I think the timing works.
I agree.
So I know we can't bribe the public, but I don't know if we could do, if it passes, we could do like a waterbed belly flop contest, and I don't know, we'll just let that go. But no. Either way, no, I think we're definitely, I don't think, I know, we're on board with that date. And as Mr. McCann said, that pool is used 6-7 days a week, 365 days a year, maybe give or take a day. But yeah, I think it's exciting. It's obviously a major commitment on the part of the community. But I don't think, as Dr. Romanelli said, I don't think people understand how difficult it is to maintain the pool that we have now and the importance of doing this, and even with the timing, with the debt coming up. So you have full support of the board.
Great, thank you, Mr. Tussey. So what we'll do is we'll prepare really a formal legal notice about the bond vote, and we'll have that officially approved at a later board meeting, but that does allow us to get started on all the planning and get everything underway. So thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any cards here, so I can imagine that there is no one from the public who would like to speak on an agenda item. Okay. Can I have a motion, please, then, to approve the minutes of the August 19th, August 29th, 2023 planning session?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. We're going to move into personnel. Mr. Cameron?
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. If I may request a consent personnel agenda this evening for items T1 through other as listed in the personnel schedule.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cameron. Let's go to our curriculum update with Mrs. Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. I would like to first start off by thanking all members of our school community, teachers, administrators, students, parents, and staff for a great opening week. We came back yesterday with our students in walking around the buildings, Dr. Romanelli, Mrs. Pilati, Mr. Cameron, myself. There is just such excitement in the building. Kids are happy back in the classroom. Our teachers have done a really great job decorating the rooms and having them laid out nicely for instructional spaces. We have some new science labs up here at the high school. We have foundation spaces laid out in our elementary classrooms, and it's just really nice to have everybody back. So thank you very much for a great opening. K through 8 students will be assessed throughout the month of October by the district's universal screener, AimsWeb Plus. As we've said before, we do this universal screener 3 times a year to make sure that our students are progressing as expected. If anything shows up on the screener that tells us otherwise, we look to see what type of interventions may need to be put in place to support those students. So we look forward to getting that finished by the end of October. Students who left in June with the need for interventions are currently receiving them. As of yesterday, students in, and this is very exciting, Mrs. Brown, students in pre-K, K, first grade, and second grade are all immersed in the Foundation's Phonemic Awareness Program. As previously mentioned in updates, the district invested in decodable text called Geodes, which align with the Foundation's program, and the teachers have really reported the students are meeting with great success with. As a result of that, Dr. Walsh did order additional decodable texts for the classrooms over the summer, and they will be going out to the buildings next week for additional support in the acquisition of those foundational literacy skills. But again, a shout out to the administrative team and to our teachers for really getting this initiative off the ground. We are definitely seeing progress being made each year as we continue to roll it out. A reminder that the District Code of Conduct was revised at the end of last school year. Parent academies have been scheduled for September 21st, October 19th, and September 15th to provide parents with an overview, to kind of go through and talk through some scenarios related to the Code of Conduct, and to ask any questions they may have. So if you would like more information on that or on how to sign up, please contact the Office of Curriculum Instruction. And again, thank you very much. Welcome back, and I'm looking forward to a great school year.
All right, thank you, Ms. Morrison. At this time, we're going to have our report of board committees, in which we will start off with the Education Committee and Mr. Antonello.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tussey. The Education Committee met on Tuesday, August 29th. In attendance are all board members. Also in attendance, Dr. Romanelli, Assistant Superintendent Lisa Pilati, Assistant Superintendent Dawn Morrison, Assistant Superintendent James Cameron. It was only 2 weeks prior that we had another education meeting, so there wasn't a lot that changed in that 2 weeks in August, so it was a rather brief meeting. The first thing that was discussed, Mrs. Morrison alluded to, and that was the K-8 assessment calendar, including the screening in October. The K-5 report cards are updated. Adjustments were made from last year to this year. We also discussed
performance-based assessments because of AI that everybody's heard about. There's discussion of a shift now to try to shift from recall to performance-based assessments for the kids. There was also discussion of a pilot program to do that. Where exactly to do this pilot program is still under discussion. The meeting ended at 7:15.
All right, thank you, Mr. Antonello. We're going to move into Finance Committee. Mrs. Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. The Finance Committee met on August 29th, 2023. Committee members present were myself, Christina Marks, Pete McCann. Board members in attendance were Rich Antonello, Quinn Bedell, Debbie Brown, Anthony Tussey. Administrators present, Dr. Paul Romanelli, Lisa Pilati, Dawn Morrison, and James Cameron. The purpose of the meeting was discussion of pertinent fiscal matters. The meeting was called to order at 6:36 p.m. The following were presented and accepted by the committee: payroll summary for June, system manager audit trail for 8/1/2023 to 8/24/2023, payroll certification for 8/25/23, reviewed board agenda finance items, approval of budget transfers, discussion items. R.S. Abrams, the external auditors, will be on site again Thursday, August 30th, to complete the fieldwork testing for the 2022-23 year-end audit. The meeting was adjourned at 6:43 p.m.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Mrs. Kelly. Let's go to Building and Grounds Committee. Mr. McCann.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. The Building and Grounds Committee also met on August 29th. Committee members in attendance were Mrs. Debbie Brown, Mrs. Christina Marks, and myself. All the board members were in attendance, along with administrators, Dr. Romanelli, Jim Cameron, Lisa Pilati, and Dawn Morrison. Most of the time we spent on the pool reconstruction project, so we had the architects in. Dr. Romanelli covered that. That was most of it. But we do have an update. The first update I'd like to say is that it was really, really cool in the buildings this past week. And I know we've talked about air conditioning now since Rich initiated this 6 years ago. But, and I know I predicted or I wished for 100-degree weather last board meeting on the first day of school. We got to 93. But I can tell you that this is the last time we'll talk about it. But it really, I believe, made a profound effect. I know my own children and the children that we met and teachers that I spoke to, it made a big difference. Some of us were able to go into some of the classrooms on that first day, and you could actually teach, and you can actually see the kids engaged. So that was great. So we had 93-degree weather, and as an aside, you probably saw during this heat wave, there were schools in Jersey and some upstate New York that actually had to cancel classes because of the heat. So schools were closed because of heat. So another benefit of having that those air conditioning. So thanks to the community for the vote on that, and we appreciate it. I know everyone that I spoke to has appreciated it. Other projects that we got working on, the Beach Street Rotunda was a little bit delayed. Some of the windows were there, but I know they're still working on that. I know Mr. O'Farrell's here, and we're trying to get that project wrapped up. But that team worked really hard to get at least the building functioning for that opening day, and they'll continue to work on that. The Udall Beach bathrooms were completed. The Paul J. Ballou, the new parking lot, about 27 new spots. I parked there the other day. It's a great addition. I went by at the height of Paul J. Ballou's teaching session the other day, and there were actually open spots there, which is great, because prior to that, teachers had to park and staff had to park in other parts of the neighborhood. So that's a great project. And the estate fencing along Montauk Highway in front of the buildings is also up. The last note that we're still talking about is, and I always want to mention, is the Macera project. So we are looking at options of a potential tenant there. So we're going to continue negotiations with that, but more to come on that. But that committee adjourned at 7:35 p.m. and appreciate everyone's help. And just one more note on a lot of us were able to attend that first day of school. So Dr. Romanelli, Mrs. Morrison, the whole team. You know, the pictures that you see on the web and the pictures that you see up there of the smiling faces, it was really that way. You know, you feel it when the kids came back to school. Even the high schoolers, where it's like 6:30 in the morning, we were there. They were happy to be back, which is great. And that's why I think all of us are here. And it was great to be part of that. And thanks, we thank the teachers, on the superintendent and the staff for getting us to this point. And we're just happy to have the kids back. So thanks for everything that everyone does in this community.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. McCann. And two things I just kind of want to say really quick. I know there's a lot of educators in this district, and myself included, Mr. Antonello, and trust us, teaching in a classroom with 25, 30 kids at 90-something degrees is not easy. I really can't complain because I do have an air conditioner in my classroom, but for all the other people, I am aware of how difficult it is. So just to reiterate Mr. McCann's remarks of thanking the community for passing that vote, goes a long way. And I think we said this last meeting, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say it again. I just want to give a quick shout out to our Building and Grounds Committee for getting the schools up and running this week. The work that they've done has been just tirelessly working, and everything was great, and we are all appreciative. And of course, everyone else for everything that they do to get school to be what it was on the first day. And I can't help but think that we're going to have about 10 months of that feeling. So looking forward to this school year. And with that being said, we're going to move into the Special Ed Committee with Mrs. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Tassi. Good evening, everyone. This is going to be a long one, so hang in there. The Special Education Committee met on September 7th at 9 a.m. in District Office. In attendance were myself, Board Member Christina Marks. Administrators in attendance were Dawn Morrison, Jean Dowling, Gail Doherty, Lindsay Ednick, and Superintendent Dr. Romanelli. We discussed the most recent CSE and CPSC meetings, as well as updates to IEPs and student placements. They will be approved this evening. Almost all students have appropriate placement at this time. Mrs. Dowling gave us a report on summer extended school year services at Manitowoc. We now have our ESY summer program in district, which has provided much helpful continuity to our students, as many of the staff that work with the children during ESY also work with the children during the school year. This model has been really helpful because staff are already familiar with students and their individualized needs. It was a successful summer for these students. ESY is designed to prevent summer regression, and the data shows good results overall. I wanted to give a shout out to all the aides and teachers who worked with our students this summer. We couldn't do it without you, and thanks for all of your hard work and dedication. The board plans on beginning classroom visits to various special ed programs sometime in October. It's one of the best things we do as board members. It's one of my favorite things. Most of the time we're just looking at documents or being informed verbally of what's happening, so it's really great to actually see everything come to life when we do these classroom visits, and we make some new friends along the way. The special education department has purchased some new equipment for the sensory room at Paul J. Ballou to help meet some specific sensory needs for those students. Mrs. Dowling is conducting ongoing interviews to fill several special education aide positions. We hired a special education aide today, welcome. We still have 2 openings. If anyone's interested, please apply. Our ESS update, West Islip School District has an ongoing partnership with ESS, which stands for Effective School Solutions. ESS is grant funded and was rolled out in our district last year. Effective School Solutions is an organization that provides inclusive mental health and behavioral support programs that improve care, strengthen outcomes, address trauma, and maintain students in their home district. It also helps keep the kids in school for the full school day. It works off a multi-tiered system of support framework. This year we have expanded and added a second licensed mental health counselor from ESS to the high school. The district actively screens for students who may benefit from this extensive and individualized program. The counselors meet with students and families once they are enrolled on a regular basis. ESS has had a powerful and positive impact on those students who are enrolled. We look to a continued partnership with them. On to SEPTA. SEPTA will have their first meeting at 6 p.m. on September 21st at Udall. The SEPTA board is currently working on topics for speakers for this year. There are a number of events set for the school year, including a back to school outdoor movie night, which will be at the end of September, Dave & Buster's in November, and a silent dance in January. You must be a member of SEPTA to attend those events. But speaking of membership, please consider supporting SEPTA and all the PTAs by becoming a member. Anyone can join. If you go to West Islip SEPTA on Facebook, there's a link to the membership hub. And also some great news, there's a date for everyone's favorite SEPTA event, the SEPTA Moonlight Bowl. It's April 13th, so mark your calendars. And for other business, we discuss ways in which to educate families with respect to special education procedure and protocol, including a parent bill of rights, an FAQ on our website, and parent academies. Those conversations are ongoing. And then on to October, which is Dyslexia Awareness Month. The district will once again go red to help raise awareness of this extremely common and treatable learning disability that affects approximately 1 in 5 of our students. Plans are underway for some activities to educate students, parents, and staff, so stay tuned for more information. The meeting adjourned at 10 a.m. and the next committee meeting will be October 4th at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. That was actually,
That was a mouthful.
that was a good one. Yeah. All right, we are going to move into business items with Ms. Pilati.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. May I have a motion for the approval of budget transfer 4321 in the general fund?
So moved. Second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. President's report. Can I please have a motion of approval of the BOCES multi-year service agreement network copier project, which is a 4-year agreement ending March 1st, 2028.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Can I have a motion, please, of approval of the resolution regarding the Board of Education, which approves the recommendations of the Special Education Committee of Students as listed in the district's backup and authorizes the district to arrange for appropriate services.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Dr. Romanelli.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. Just a few thoughts tonight about the opening of school. You know, before students arrive, we have some big days, 2 superintendent's conference days, really prior to everything beginning. And we also have a new teacher orientation that takes place the week before school starts. And, you know, we really had some really positive feedback from the days, and we also had it was a really great energy in this room, I would say, on Friday of Superintendent's Conference Day. We had a Hawaiian theme to start the year, and this entire room was filled with people in Hawaiian shirts, which we did also some fundraising for Hawaii and the public education system there, due to the devastation that they were facing. We had a great keynote speaker who really inspired us and talked about, you know, why we got into education in the first place and really the importance of the education field. I also have to thank Mrs. Morrison for planning an incredible new teacher orientation. It takes place over the course of 3 days. We have a great group of new teachers and administrators this year that we're so excited to be working with. And you know, just when all that planning ahead of time and a lot of positive energy goes into the first day of school, I know that our teachers and administrators and staff were really ready to welcome students on day 1, and it was a really highly successful day. Just to paraphrase, you know, a little bit from a message I sent out to staff, it is great to drive through the community on the first day of school when, you know, bus stops are back and seeing families and students waiting for the bus and the excitement of a new year. We were at the front doors of all the buildings, you know, across the first day of school, and met with some families that were, you know, new to the district, and, you know, you can see the anxious and students coming in, and just, you know, the willingness of the staff to go above and beyond to welcome people and talk about how great of a district this is. And really, you can tell that people have that sense of pride and that feeling when talking about West Islip, which is really great. And the classrooms, just so inviting when you get to walk around the buildings and, you know, peek in and say hello to people. The way the classrooms are set up for students to walk in from day 1, it's just a really positive, and you know, we're very excited for an extremely positive year. So again, just a big thank you to all the staff. You know, one of the things we always talk about is wanting to hear positive conversations in homes across the school district, and I know that there's been a lot of that going on this week, and that's really just attributed to the staff that we have. I just also want to, you know, the whole air conditioning piece I know has already been said, but I do also want to thank Mrs. Pilati, just, you know, for her budget planning. You know, some years we do have reserves in our budget and we're able to utilize them. The public voted on that, so a big thank you to the public, and just the vision of the board on that is really what made that all happen. Budget years are different. You know, sometimes we have some reserves that we can eventually utilize for projects like this, and other years are a little bit tighter where we don't have much left over at all, which will probably be, you know, the case in a year like this year. So we are just really feeling good about the start of school, and we're looking to just build on this momentum and really make it our best year yet.
So I'm sorry, but I need to say one more thing. This is my 24th year teaching, so I've been to 24 superintendent's conference days, and I had the privilege of being here this year for West Islip. And it is by far, and I'm not just saying this, I don't need to say this, but I want to say this, the greatest superintendent's conference day I've ever witnessed. The energy from the staff, from faculty, from all members of administration, it was incredible. And when Dr. Romanelli said that, we're doing a Hawaiian shirt theme, I thought, that's great. I said to myself, let's see how the buy-in is. And we're talking about 99, if not more, % of all staff members wearing Hawaiian shirts. And that says so much about the staff for West Islip schools. People often ask me, why do I do this? Don't you have anything better else to do with your time? And what I witnessed is one of the reasons why I do this. It was great. So congratulations to Dr. Romanelli and his team and everyone out there. And I could not be more thrilled for our children. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They are lucky to be in this school district. And I really, really can't help but say that great things lie ahead. So with that being said, I don't see any pink cards up here from the public, which is great. So I'm going to motion to adjourn to executive session where the board can discuss personnel, litigation, and negotiations.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. We'll see everybody in October. Thank you.